and we'll go ahead and get started. So good morning to those on the West Coast. I think everybody else is now afternoon, so hello to everyone. My name is Patrice Valentine. I am one of the owners here at the Profusion Dealer Network. And today we just wanted to give you all kind of a quick introduction to what we do and how we've been doing it for pro forma owners for the past 18 months. Actually, at the end of my presentation here, I actually have kind of a slide giving you just a little bit of information about who we are. And I realized maybe I should have done that at the beginning, but I figured I would talk about what you actually wanted to hear about first and then talk about ourselves at the very end of the presentation. But what I want to do today is just kind of go through why we're offering what we're offering to you all, what we're actually offering, and then how you can go about doing this and offering these solutions to the people that you're already working with. So it's going to be a pretty short presentation. Again, as I said, if you have questions during this live session, please do send them through the join.me chat. That's just that little speech bubble chat function. I can see that pop up on the other screen. So at any time, if you have questions or can't hear me or need some additional information, just send a little message through there and I will be able to respond accordingly. So this is all we're going to cover today, just kind of some short slides on what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how you guys can add this into your existing business. So why we're doing this, part one is for business owners. So business owners are looking for web solutions for a vendor that they can trust, right? You guys are already there providing promotional items. You could be providing printing. I know a lot of the pro forma owners, you guys have a huge suite of products and services that you can already offer to these small and medium-sized business owners that we're also dealing with. Right now, and you can see kind of the picture I have on my screen is the person in the chair with the big old question mark. What we offer, what Profusion has to offer is, I'm going to say websites that you're going to be able to sell to your customers. We're going to talk a little bit more about what our product suite actually looks like as we get further into this. But historically, our industry, the web solutions industry, doesn't have a great name for itself. You know, anyone can become a web developer. You don't really have to go to a specific school to be able to call yourself a web developer. You don't have to have, a different degree in order to do this. So historically, my industry, the web development industry, has been, young guns that have called themselves web developers and opened up shop and then taken, money from small and medium-sized business owners and then maybe delivered a product that is great and then they maybe go away. And then the business owner, I'm sure you've heard of a business owner who, I don't know who developed my website, I can't get in touch with my web developer, or I didn't get what I had already paid for. So the promises weren't delivered on. So what they're looking for, business owners are looking for, just with any industry and with any product or service, they're looking for a vendor that they can trust. You already have a seat at the table, like I said, because you're already offering a lot of the different marketing solutions to these business owners. What we're proposing is you take it one step further if you're not already and extend that into offering web solutions. And we'll get into what a web solution actually looks like. So that's the why. The why is part one of the why, I should say, is because business owners are looking for this. They're already looking for this trusted vendor. They need this person on their team. A lot of them can't hire an in-house IT department or an in-house, conversion marketing team for their digital marketing efforts. So they're looking for a vendor that they can trust. Again, you already have a seat at the table, so we're proposing that this person be you. But the real why, the one that you're going to be interested in, is the show me the money section, right? Why are we going to do anything more why are we going to add any additional products or services to what we're already offering, especially something like web services that can seem a little intimidating when you're talking about it. Again, I think as we get into this, you'll see that it's not all that intimidating, that it's not all it's not that different from selling, the products and solutions that you're already selling. So for you guys, really the why should be, it's an additional way for you to earn more money from your existing clients. It's an additional thing for you to say, yes, this pro forma owner, I get all of my marketing materials for them, my printed items. I also get my promotional items that maybe I order a few times a year. And now they're also doing my website. It's another way for you to get your hooks into them, so to speak, which makes it harder for them to leave you should they, should another vendor come in, it might be a little bit cheaper or might, have a different product that they may offer. It's just one other thing that you can offer to your existing clients, and it allows you to also talk about something new to bring in new clients. So for you guys, the why is, of course, additional revenue. Now let's get to kind of what we're talking about selling. I'm going to run through this list, but I'm also going to give you some definitions because I realize that some of the things on this screen might be new to some of you, so these might not be things that you're actually familiar with already. Obviously, websites, I think everybody knows what a website is. But what we're talking about is actually putting up a website for your client. Certainly, you can put up a new website for yourself, but that is not necessarily the solution that we're talking about. We have built some websites for Proforma owners that they're using actually as kind of ancillary websites beyond the website that is provided by Proforma. But really what we're talking about is websites that you can sell to your existing clients. We have packages, and I'll go over that on the next screen to show you exactly kind of what these web packages look like. Landing pages, again, one of our packages is a landing page, but I separated these out because I think a lot of you guys actually talk, I've received quite a few phone calls from Proforma owners about creating landing pages specifically. Now, a landing page could be, you know, if your Rotary Club is having an event and you need to put up a landing page that shows all of the information about that specific event. So we typically look at a landing page as a single, you know, source of or a single topic website that shows maybe one page that has kind of one main goal. So if we look back to an event website, the main goal could be selling tickets. So we might have a form on there that actually allows you to purchase a ticket and transact with PayPal, for example. So landing page is going to have a singular focus. So where a website might be for a company that has, you know, 10 to 15 products, or there might be a service base that talks all about their company, who they are, what they do, and shows everything. The landing page would be specifically about converting either, you know, purchasing something or making a phone call or filling out a contact form. So I did keep those separate. The third bullet item there is search engine optimization or search engine marketing. So we differentiate between optimization and marketing in that search engine optimization, or you may hear this referred to as SEO. Search engine optimization would be that organic listing. So if you're, you know, driving around and you want to know if there's a restaurant, a pizza restaurant nearby, so you grab your phone and you search up Google and you say, you know, local pizza restaurants or pizza restaurants. We're in Bellingham, so I might look for pizza restaurants in Bellingham, right? And so what you're going to look at is that the organic optimization are going to be the non-paid listings. So the listings that are kind of not the first few that you see on the screen. They're typically, if you're looking on a desktop, they're going to be the ones on the left-hand side of the search results. So optimization will be working with your website, both on page, the things you do on your site, and off page, things you do off of your site, to make your website rank higher for your selected keywords. Okay, so that's search engine optimization. Search engine marketing would be pay per click. So Google AdWords, for example, or maybe doing some Facebook marketing, creating the ads that actually when someone clicks on those ads, the website owner actually has to pay for those clicks. That's what we would consider search engine marketing, and we can help you with both of those things. Hosting is that fourth bullet point there, and hosting is really, it's an annual fee that pays for basically the website. Your website is made up of a bunch of files, is really all it is. So those files have to live somewhere. They live on our servers. So hosting is paying the rental space for where those files live on an annual basis to make sure that they're accessible, easy to, you know, to access when someone types in your domain name. That's what hosting is. Hosting also has kind of a bunch of items underneath it that I'll get to in, you'll see kind of later on here. We're going to do these Tuesday talks, or I think we're going to do them every week is what we're going to kind of go for. And again, they'll be recorded, and some topics might not pertain to you. But we just want to make sure that you guys are feeling like you're getting as much information from us as you need. So hosting could also be domain-based email. So having, you know, your name at yourdomainname.com as your email address. It's also going to be SSL certificates, which stands for Secure Socket Layer, which just makes your website more secure, makes transactions on your website more secure. So hosting actually has a few things underneath it, but really hosting is that rental space that people have to pay on an annual basis for their website. The next one down is maintenance and support. And I put these again kind of in two different categories there. Maintenance, we can work on websites that we didn't build. So we have quite a few clients actually from Proforma that, you know, the person you're dealing with, they may already have a really nice website, but as I kind of alluded to at the beginning of this presentation, maybe they've lost touch with their web developer. Maybe they don't know how to get in contact with them. Maybe the company went out of business. We can work on, I'm going to say 99% of the time, we can work on a website that we didn't build. So if they need some help, you know, if there's outdated content on their website or they want to add a feature to it, most likely we would be able to help them make those changes on their existing site. So it doesn't have to be a brand new website that you're putting up. It simply can be maintenance or support for an existing website. Okay, so that's something that you can offer as well. And again, with that, we would take it probably on a case-by-case basis to where we'd want to take a look at the site, make sure it's built on a platform that we can update. But really, there's only been, I think, one that we've been asked to take a look at that we have opted not to bid on helping with that site. The rest of them we've jumped in and been able to help out. So that's the maintenance category, is maintaining somebody's site or going in and kind of helping with making changes onto an existing site. And then support, which is similar, but we would also put in support as training. So I had a client who was on a WordPress site that we didn't create. It was actually a pro forma client. And they needed to know how to add a blog to their site. So we did some quick videos, not dissimilar to what we're doing right now, where we just sat down and I recorded a video showing here's the steps that you would want to take to add a blog to your site. And then I sent that video over, and both the dealer and you know, the or not the dealer, both the pro forma owner and Profusion, us, we were able to both, you know, kind of service that client and make money doing so. So we handled all of that, but the pro forma owner made the introduction. And then the last one there is email marketing. And email marketing, we'll talk a little bit about this on the next couple of slides as well. Email marketing, we would estimate this out, unfortunately, on a case-by-case basis, just because there's so many different variables that we have to take into consideration: list size, what type of message you're going to be sending. But email marketing is something that I think the latest stat that I read, it was for every dollar you put into email marketing, you're getting an $82 return on investment. So email marketing is something that if your client is looking at, you know, kind of coming up with a new marketing campaign, or they really have an audience that they'd like to target, or they have a message they want to get out there, email marketing is still a very, very valuable marketing tool. And it's something that not a lot of people know how to do correctly. So it's something that if your client is looking at starting an email marketing campaign, we can definitely help to set that up and make sure it's tied into the rest of their marketing, and then make sure that those messages get sent on a regular basis. Okay, so these are the types of services that we're talking about. Certainly something we can do for you and your business, but really what we're talking about is you providing these services to your clients. So the first item that we had on that last slide was website packages. So what's on my screen right now is simply showing the website packages that we have come up with to make it easy for you guys to talk to your clients about. Now, not everyone is going to fit into these packages. However, a lot of people do. So it's something where if you're at a networking meeting and somebody says to you, hey, well, what does a website cost? We used to have to say, oh gosh, it depends. You know, it's like asking me how much a car costs. Well, I don't know. Are you going to buy an Audi or are you going to buy, you know, a Hyundai? It depends on what kind of car you're going to get. So now at least you can say, well, we have website packages that start at $699. So it gives you an immediate ability for you to answer that question. And maybe you don't want to answer it. You know, sometimes I've heard different selling techniques to where, or sales techniques to where, you know, you never want to talk price on the first conversation. However, there are some people that are so price sensitive that you don't want to spend a bunch of time creating an estimate for them to come to find out that they had a budget of $150, right? So this does kind of weed out some of those people that really don't want to pay a professional to do the site anyway. So you can at least say we have a website package that starts at $700 and it goes up from there. But the packages we have, you can see the names across the top. So it starts landing page, classic site, and then deluxe site. The landing page is that single page website, great for events, great for if you have a new product coming out, or even if it's a brand new company. We just are putting one up right now for a painting company. So he does commercial and residential painting, and he really just needed to get something up really quickly that showed a basic information about who he is, some showcasing some products or some projects that he's done in the past, so some before and after pictures on that page, and then a contact or request an estimate form on that page as well. So it was really quick. He just needed to get something up really quickly. He didn't have a ton of content. He didn't want to sit down and write a ton of content like he's going into his busy season, right? So he wanted to get something up pretty quickly and that had enough information and actually legitimized his business to where when he was going out and handing people business cards or putting flyers on mailboxes, that someone could go to his site and say, okay, he is a legitimate business. I can request information right here from the site. So the landing page, that's $700. That's your client's cost. You can see the cost at the bottom there, the $450, $435. That would actually be your cost. And if you wanted to, you could charge more than the $700. We're fine with that. We don't really care what you charge. We just want you to know that your cost is just over $450 for that site. And then moving up from there, we have the classic site. So this is the 2 to 5 page site, $1,300. And again, these are custom design sites. These aren't templates that we're just pulling from WordPress. We literally will take a look at your client's existing branding, any marketing that they have already. We'll go through and we will custom design a website for these clients. So the classic site, that's the 2 to 5 page site at $1,300. And then the deluxe site, which is the 6 to 10 page website, and that's just under $2,000. And again, your cost on there is just shy of $1,300 on that. Each one of those packages come with a little bit more. It comes, you can see the first year of hosting is included. There's some recorded trainings with all of our sites. If the client wants to be able to go and update the website themselves, they certainly can. We use a very easy, for most of the sites, unless it's a custom solution, we use a drag and drop editor, which makes it really easy to edit the website and keep it responsive so that it looks good on a mobile device, on your tablet, and also on a desktop computer with a large monitor. So we do offer pre-recorded trainings if we want, and then with the deluxe site, they do get a 1-hour training session as well, where we do, again, a webinar not too dissimilar from this, where they sit down with somebody from our team, and they learn how to actually manage their site. Now, this training could be for you. If you wanted to manage the site in-house, that's fine too, or it can be directly for the client. And then, of course, there's going to be those clients that just don't fit into any one of these packages. Usually what we'll do if we have a custom client is we'll start off with one of the packages and then add on the additional services that take them outside of the package. But if you have a client that just needed some custom coding done or just had a custom package, we do have the hourly price at $125 an hour. That's the retail cost. And again, your cost on that would be down in the gray bar below, which is $81.25 an hour. Okay, so these are just the packages. So I just wanted to show you this, again, just gives you something really easy for you to talk about with your client. So we do have these packages, here you go, but maybe your client needs something more specific, and then at that point we would just want to have a conversation with them and with you and just talk about exactly what their needs would be. Now I do have an example. Oops. Oh, now it's getting a little crazy there. I do have an example solution here. So this is an actual client that we did for Proforma, and I'll open up the proposal that we did in just a moment here. But you can see the middle column there is the retail price, and then the column on the right is actually what the Proforma cost would be on that. So design and development of the site, you can see it's $1,300. So they were actually in that classic package, the 2 to 5 page package. This was actually an e-commerce website. They sell like outdoor supplies. I'll show you again in a second here. So we have the WooCommerce setup, which is the ability for it to actually have the e-commerce and actually sell products online. The annual hosting, we did the SSL certificate. Again, that's for site security. And then this one had a 6-hour support package. And that support package, we recommend that you sell a support package with every single site. And that just allows us to continue to make updates to the website, so that when a new version of the website comes out, that we can keep it on the most current version. And then if there's training that needs to happen, or if there's additional changes that need to be made on the site, we can just kind of ding that support package. So we just debit time from that support package every time the client needs something. And this is a lovely way for you to get some recurring revenue, because after we've used up, we get close to using up that 6-hour support package, we will send you a message, or if we're in direct communication with your client, we will send your client a message letting them know that, hey, you're just about, your support time is just about over. Would you like to renew with another 6-hour support package? Or if they don't need that much support, they might bump down to a 3-hour support package. But it's just a nice way for you to kind of get some additional ongoing revenue, really without you having to do much. Since we're doing the support, you're really just kind of doing the invoicing at that point. So for this, the example site that I have on my screen, it was just shy of $850 profit on this one. Again, the $1,500 was the Proforma owner cost. The $2,400 is what we suggested they charge the client. And in this case, I happen to know that's exactly what they did charge the client. I'm going to break out of the PowerPoint real quick, and I'm going to open up the proposal. So this is the proposal. I think you can see that on my screen, yep. So this is the proposal that we did. So we just did a really quick kind of introduction. Here's what you're looking for in design, development, hosting, and then we talked a little bit about that support package and why that's a good idea. And then if you scroll down, there's the estimate. There's the next, this column was not in the estimate that we sent to the client. So that actually would not have been there. I'll just delete that column. This is what it would have looked like when it was sent directly to the client. Telling them that what the next steps would be. We suggest you get a 50% down deposit. That way the client has some skin in the game and you've already got some money to work with. And then there's the acceptance. So it's just a really simple contract that shows them, here's what you're getting, kind of a brief description of what the client, in this case, River to Rage, was getting. And then it shows kind of the estimates as well as kind of the deliverables. Okay, so that's what a sample proposal would actually look like. All right, now let's talk about how because I know when we talk about this, everyone, when I do these presentations, I usually the initial response from the audience is, everybody I know already has a website, which is so true. I mean, and even if they don't have a website, they have an active, blog that they're using as their website, or an active Facebook presence that they're using as their website. And Facebook is a whole other topic for a whole other day. But what we encourage you to do, if you're dealing with people that already have a website, that's fine. We've had a website for 19 years, but we've actually had 7 different websites in that time, because what we put up, what we like to say is, for websites, they age in dog years. So if you've had a website up for 1 year, it's dog years, it's actually 7 years. So in technology years, it's actually 7 years old. So what you want to look for, if everyone truly has a website and they feel like it's just it's great as it can possibly be, there are things you can look for. One is, how does that website look on a mobile device? If it's not optimized at all, and again, when we get into our Tuesday, what I'm calling our Tuesday talks, there's different ways that you can go about reviewing these things. So Google actually gives you a tool to show you whether or not Google thinks your site is mobile optimized. These are things that I'll show you guys how to use. So it's just another thing that if someone says, oh, my website's great, you can say, well, actually, your mobile site is not optimized, and it's actually providing you a disservice in Google search engine results page. So if you're looking, if they already have a website, looking to see how does it look on mobile, how does it look on a tablet? Is it responsive? Are the buttons easy to push? Is the content correct? Looking for an SSL certificate. And really this is, very, very few times does Google actually tell us when they're going to make changes to their algorithm and what we can do to help make sure our website ranks well in the search engines. And 2 things that Google has ever mentioned. One was mobile, that it's going to look for a mobile site on mobile devices. It's going to rank sites that have a mobile site higher than they will someone that doesn't have a mobile site. And then same thing with SSL certificates. If your site is secure, and you can tell if a site is secure by going to HTTPS, add that S in there, that's for the SSL certificate, and then adding the domain name. So typically you would see HTTP / www, whatever. So what you'd want to look for is, does your client have the HTTPS? It used to be that we would make a recommendation for, if you're going to have a shopping cart, you for sure should have an SSL certificate. Now everyone should have an SSL certificate. It's just a best practice to have it. So this is, again, something you can look for. If everyone you're dealing with already has a website, you can go look and say, you don't have an SSL certificate. Would you like for me to do a whole review on your website to see what else you could potentially be missing? On the next screen, I'll show you, we actually have what's called our SEO, it's really just a site review, but it looks at the search engine optimization on that website. So what's been done to it, how well it's being done, if it's mobile optimized. So I'll show you an example of that. These are free. So if you have a client that you're going to meet with and you want to provide them with an SEO review, just give us 24 hours notice or so. Potentially it can be done the same day. It takes a little bit of time to actually do the review. So give us a little bit of a heads up, and we can send you back this lovely report that I'll show you on the next screen that will give you just your client. And it might be great. Your client might say, it might have all green marks, and then you can say to your client, hey, good job on your website. Like, everything is going really well. But for the most part, there are usually some holes that the client can fill by doing this review and then seeing kind of where the areas that they need to be updated. Even if your client already has a website, they might not know how to update it. They might not know how to add new things to it. So you could always go, if you're meeting a new client for a review to see what promotional items they're currently using, how their marketing is currently going, also take a look at their website and make sure that, if they have any news on their website, when was the last time it was updated? You'd be surprised at how many companies, when they first put up a new website, they put up a news section and, then they never update it again. So the news was updated last in 2014. As a consumer, that doesn't look great if I go to your website and I see that your latest news story was, a year or 2 years, 3 years ago. So look for any outdated content or any news or events that haven't been updated. Or if you know something exciting is happening in that company and you don't see that on their website, then again, it's just a conversation opener for you to say, hey, we've been talking about this new product launch that you're having, but I don't see it anywhere on the website. How can I help you get that up on your website? How can I help you, kind of facilitate this to where you're getting a comprehensive approach to your marketing? If you have a client that's rebranding, and I just mentioned new product launches, that's also a great time for you to review their website and see if we need to rebrand their website, or if they're moving, if they've got a new location, how is the address going to get updated on their site? just making sure everything is up to date. We talked about upcoming events, and those are great for single page sites if you need a registration, or if you need, just a single place, easy way for them to go to get all the information about an upcoming event. A single page site is a great way to do that. And then the last thing that I'm going to touch on, and this could be a whole conversation on its own, is active social media users. So social media, I think we can all agree, has changed a lot of the ways that we kind of market some businesses, right? I know there's a lot of product-based businesses that do really well on social media by pushing out information about their products, by engaging the current users, by storytelling a little bit, by asking people to share how they're using their products. If you have a client that is extremely active on social media, the problem with social media is that as the business owner, you don't own those relationships. So if I have 10,000 followers on Facebook, and I wanted to get a message out to them to let them know that I'm having a sale, I could push that information out, and I could even boost that post. I could even say, okay, I'm willing to spend an extra $500, $100, whatever you want to spend to boost that post to make sure all those people see it. At the end of the day, I don't own that relationship. I can't, send an email out to all of my existing followers on Facebook. So if you have someone who you're working with that is really active on social media, the conversation with them should also be about making sure that their website is just as strong as their social media presence. Because everything that they're pushing out on social media should be reiterated and kind of supported by what you're seeing on their website as well. And what I found with a lot of social media users is that they push out via social media, and they're really good about updating that. And then when you go look at their site, they're kind of lacking a little bit. And a lot of times it's because they don't know how to update it, or they don't feel like they have the time to do it properly. So with a little bit of training and a little bit of know-how, we can help them make sure that, when they are pushing out a contest on social media or a new product on social media, that they're linking back to their website to where they're able to actually capture and get information from each one of those followers, rather than just relying on Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or any of the other platforms to be able to push the information out. Ideally, they'd be able to capture some of that on their website and then use it for marketing purposes. So those are just a few things to look for. I mean, I could talk about things to look for all day long, but those are just a few that we've noticed that those are kind of the big tickets to where if someone's if a business is looking to make any of these changes on their with their company, that it also needs to be made on their website. And you'll see that if they don't have a good relationship or don't have a relationship at all with their current web developer, that these are the kind of things that you might be able to step in and provide a solution for as well. Now, I mentioned the website review. So on my screen now, this is just a tool that we have available for you. And I'll make it available just so you can see what this full thing looks like. So this was a review we did on our website, and you can see out of 100 possible points, this one scored 30.4. And honestly, this is one of the better ones that I've seen. I think we had one that actually scored a 3 out of 100. So it looks at on-page optimization, which is what you can do to your website to make it rank better in the search engines. This one actually did really well in the mobile-friendly department, which is, again, one of those indicators I said that Google is actually looking for. So this is good in the mobile-friendly, terrible with keywords, really bad at off-page optimization, so external factors on their website. They don't have any social link ups. And then when we looked at the competitor analysis, as compared to their three of their competitors, they're only a 1 out of 10. So they're not holding up very well to their competition. So this is a report that we're happy to run. If you're going into a meeting with a client, again, just give us about a day's notice and we can run this for you. I think it's like a 16-page report. And there's no cost to this. So this is an evaluation. Just let us know. We'll run it for you. We'll send it back. It's just a tool that we'd like to offer for you guys to be able to, get your foot in the door. Okay, so that's the website review. And then the other thing that we have that's available is our pricing calculator. So a lot of people are like, I don't even know what a website's going to cost. I don't want to sit down with my clients. We also have this website estimator that is on our website that you can go through, and this is just a screenshot of it, obviously, or else I would go through the whole thing. But you would choose, so you choose classic site, and then you click next. The next screen is going to give you some additional options, like do they need domain-based email? Do they need, just kind of runs you through a real quick checklist of here's the things that your client might need. You click next, 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 and then calculate, and it's going to give you your cost and the suggested selling price. So it's going to give you an idea of what you should be selling it for. Okay. And then the last how option that we have is the one that I think most pro forma owners take us up on, is literally an introduction. So For the most part, am dealing directly with the client. So there's a few pro forma owners that prefer to kind of stay in the middle and relay messages between me and the client, which is perfectly fine. I have no problem with that at all. However, there are, I would say, the majority of the pro forma owners that we're working with, they make an introduction. So they would say, Patrice, this is John Doe, and Patrice handles the web division for us, so she's going to be your go-to person to talk about the website. And we can jump on the phone call from the initial sale. So even if you're like, oh, I just have a meeting, I'm going in with this client, we can jump on with the initial call or the initial kickoff meeting with the client, or you can bring us in after you've closed the deal. It's really up to you and how comfortable you are. What I think you'll notice, however, is that if we're on the initial call, we don't talk about the questions that we're going to ask your clients are all marketing related. You're never going to hear us ask, I'm not going to say never, but very, very, very rarely will you hear us talk about technology or coding or, really what we want to know is, what's your current marketing plan? What is your current website doing that you like? What is your website doing that you don't like? What are your main complaints from your customer service department, and how can we bring some of that on the website to alleviate some of the burden on the customer service reps? What can we do? Like, what can we automate on your, the questions that we're asking, they're all business related questions. They're all questions that you're asking them already when you're going in and talking about any of the promotional items you're working with or any of the printed materials you're creating. They're very, very similar business type questions. We want to know why they're doing what they're doing right now so that we can get in there and help them see if there's a better way to do it. Okay, so we're happy to be involved at any point to get involved with your client at any point. So just a question just came through, which is why I just stuttered so much because I can't read and talk at the same time. So the question was, the question is, do you sell direct to the end users? We don't as Profusion. So here locally, we're just north of Seattle in an area called Bellingham in Washington State. And we sell directly to our local community through a company name called Symbis. So Symbis is our company name up here. And the only reason that we still continue to kind of have a retail presence is so that we know what's going on. We'll always know what's going on in the industry, but we want to know what you're feeling when you have to go out and sell directly to a small and medium-sized business owner. And we found the best way to do that was to have experience ourselves. So if I'm going out and I'm pricing a website application and I know that I can sell it easily for that price in Bellingham, Washington, then I'm pretty confident that you can go out and sell it for that same price in your local market. So we don't compete directly with other pro forma owners. In fact, we win if you win, right? So it behooves us to have you guys win these deals. And in our local market, there actually isn't a pro forma owner. So we do sell direct, but not as Profusion up here. But for the rest of the world, they would all have to come through a pro forma owner. So hopefully that answered that question. And then so I started off this call just to tell you quickly who we are. I realize that I've been talking about kind of what we do this whole time. I'm going to give you the 10-second version about what we are. I grew up in a print shop. So my mom and dad actually were Minuteman Press franchise owners. And so we grew up collating papers and, the smell of the print and the sound of the machines running, and my dad being super grumpy if they weren't running 24 hours a day because he was paying for those printers. So by God, they better be running. So I grew up kind of in this industry around printing and promotional. So we have some experience on both sides of it. In fact, when we went from the print shop, and my parents actually opened up a marketing company, and that's where right out of college I went to work for this marketing company and kind of took over the web division there, which is how we learned not only how to create websites that business owners are going to be using, but also creating websites that work from a marketing point of view. Marketing has, you can see my bottom bullet point there, if we just jump right from the top to the bottom, marketing solution focused is our focus. So we don't want to put up a website that no one's ever going to see. We don't want to put up a website that's not going to work for the business owner and also for the consumer. So we have to look at it from two sides. There's a saying that I learned when I first got out of college, and it was, if you want to know why John Smith buys what John Smith buys, you have to see the world through John Smith's eyes, right? So in order for us to know, this is why when I said the questions we're going to ask your clients, they're going to be really similar to the questions you're already asking them. We just need to know why the customers buy from them, and that will help us create a website that works for the business owner and the consumer, and that's really important to us. Two of our owners have psychology degrees. Why that's important is because it helps us kind of get into the head a little bit of who we're working with and understanding where they're coming from. We are lifelong entrepreneurs. This is really all we've ever known. We are a family-based business, and we've launched thousands of websites in all different industries. So if you think you've got a client that's kind of off the wall that maybe it'd be interesting to see if we've done something similar, certainly give us a call and see if there's something that we've done that might kind of match up with what you're doing. Now, what I don't want to say is none of your clients are going to be unique and that we've done something very similar or, exactly what your client's going to want. In fact, if you're selling to a restaurant and you call me and you say, Patrice, can you send some restaurant website examples that you've done so I can show my clients? I would probably hesitate to even tell you not to show them other restaurant examples because, they want to know what you're going to do for their business. They don't necessarily want to see what you've done for others because they're unique and different and they have their own story, and that's going to be something that they want to take on. So I might actually, have a different approach to sending some example sites that maybe aren't exactly in their industry, but that have a similar either look and feel or concept to what we'd want to put forth for that restaurant. So that's who we are. So where do we go from here? Again, this is going to be something new that I'm kind of kicking the tires on, is I think that we're going to do these Tuesday talks every Tuesday. So we'll do once a week, 30 to 45 minutes. I don't want to do much longer than that because I know attention spans are short and this information can be kind of dense. So, but I'm proposing, and maybe I'll rearrange the order on these just based on feedback that I'm getting on my chat right now. My Tuesday talk for next week was going to be using the pricing calculator, but I might switch that up and actually talk about reviewing a website and showing you what we look for when we review a site so that you can see instantly. You might look at a site and it might be aesthetically really nice looking, but the bones might suck. So it might actually not be a site that I would even recommend we optimize based on a few factors. So I'll probably switch those two topics. So we'll do evaluating/reviewing a website on June 5th. And then using the pricing calculator on June 12th, and then talking about asking the questions that get the sale on June 19th. And again, that could be rearranged just depending on what feels kind of more natural in the sales process here. So that's what I'm proposing we do, is every Tuesday we'll get on a call like this. And depending on what we're talking about, I'll probably make it more interactive because although this is in more presentation style where I'm kind of preaching to you all, what I prefer is a conversation truly where we get to have a conversation about what we're talking about and getting your feedback and your experience and what you're feeling when you're actually in the client's office and they're staring at you. I like to have that kind of perspective on these calls as well. So that's probably what those Tuesday talks will turn into. And that's all I had for today. Do you guys again, the questions can come through the chat. So if you have any follow-up questions that you want me to address today, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording now just because usually better than waiting for the chats to come through. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off recording.